What's up, boys? Today we're gonna be talking about Supernova Gaming. Now, you've all probably heard of Supernova Gaming before. He is a PlayStation fanboy. Although he's not as bad as, people like The Amazing Lucas or JTAC, he still has some very bad takes now and then. And this video is about one of those, where Supernova Gaming is discussing PlayStation games coming to PC and how that's bad for the PlayStation brand and the industry and whatever. His take is fucking awful, okay? So let's get into it.
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. This one shouldn't be too long, because there's really not a whole lot to say about this topic.
Wait, what do you mean it's not gonna be too long? The video's 18 minutes long. Okay? And half of the shit you say is like irrelevant nonsense. You're just rambling at certain points.
Now, this topic is actually a couple days old, but I wanted to make a video about something, and I wasn't going to make another video about Frosk, because everybody's making those videos now, and I already made mine. I do want to say, though, that I saw a video of this bitch legit saying that she is the Brad Pitt of lesbians.
Okay. I thought that this video wasn't gonna be too long. See, this is what I mean. Like, he said, oh, the video's not gonna be too long, and then he starts rambling on about some woman who said that she's the Brad Pitt of lesbians. Like, who cares?
That's what she said. She's the Brad Pitt of lesbians. So I'm not being batshit crazy and anything about games. She's also quite delusional. And honestly, I like to get this. Anyway, back to what this video is about. So a couple days ago, PC players finally got their hands on the greatness that is God of War 2018. And ever since then, we've been seeing articles about PlayStation devs pushing to have their games released on PC, and then articles like this one where this guy is trying to make the case for why every PlayStation game should now release day and date on PC.
And inside you're like, fucking no!
But why not, though? Like, literally, when PlayStation ports its games to PC, day and date, or even just in general, everybody wins. Every party involved wins, except for PlayStation fanboys, I guess, because they're more obsessed with having exclusives than, playing video games.
Now, let me be clear about something. As a PlayStation owner and someone who's owned every generation of PlayStation, including the PS5, I have zero problems with PlayStation games going to PC.
Well, great. That's amazing. Okay, boys, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I guess we can end the video now.
However...
Oh. Fuck.
I'm only okay with it when those games have been on the PlayStation platform exclusively for at least a couple of years.
Why, though? What value does that add to the game? It probably takes away from it, right? Because if I want to play a game now, right, let's say, for example, I would want to play Horizon Forbidden West or whatever, right? But I'm not willing to go out and buy a PS5 like most PC gamers are. Most of us aren't willing to buy a console. Why would we? You have a PC. There is a very big chance that if that game comes to PC like years later, that at that point I've either lost interest or just forgotten about the game, and I just won't get it. Sony would make so much more money and get so much more of an audience boost, I guess, if they just release the games day and date on PC.
For example, God of War. God of War is just now coming to PC. It is 2022. That game released back in 2018. That's 4 years. If games that are 4 years old want to release on PC, I don't have a problem with that. If games that are 2-3 years old want to release on PC, I have no problem with that. Do I like it? Not really, because I believe that PlayStation exclusives should be only on PlayStation platforms. However, I understand business, and if games want to go to PC 2, 3, 4 years after they were released exclusively for a PlayStation console, I don't have a problem with that.
My guy, I still don't understand the problem. Like, you say that you don't have a problem with the games coming to PC a couple years later, but you don't like it because you want the games to stay exclusive to PlayStation. Why? Who does that benefit at all? Besides PlayStation fanboys. Sony makes less money, people who don't have a PlayStation can't play the game, and to be honest, the biggest audience on PlayStation itself, the casuals, don't give a fuck about exclusives. They really don't. They're all playing COD and FIFA. They don't give a fuck about God of War. And those that do like and play exclusive games on PlayStation, do you think they really give a shit that the game is exclusive? That other people can't play it? No. They don't care. They just want to play video games on a console. Normal people don't give a fuck if, like, God of War or Horizon Forbidden West are exclusive or not.
That being said, releasing a PlayStation game day and date on PC and PlayStation console? No, sir, you can go fuck yourself. Why? Because that's pretty much what they're telling me. I just invested $500 in a next-generation console called the PlayStation 5.
See, that's where your problem is. You think of buying a console as an investment. You should be thinking of it as like, oh, I'm going to have fun playing next-generation games and I want to do it on this console. You know? Try thinking of it as just like a gaming machine, not an investment into the future of this industry. Because that is also just not what it is. It's a console for it's something you use to have fun and play video games. It's not an investment.
I handed PlayStation $500 in order to get their next generation console to experience the next generation of their games. And they're going to go ahead and make those games for the PC guys at the same time. Those PC guys didn't pay them money for these games. I paid them money. I paid the $500 for a PS5 to play next generation PlayStation games.
Wow, that's so incredibly fucking childish of you, my dude. Like, holy shit, I paid money to play with the toys. They're my toys, you can't have my toys. Like, honestly, does me having the same toys as you somehow lessen or ruin your enjoyment of said toys? No, it doesn't. If your enjoyment of a game comes from knowing that you can play this game because you bought that console and you gave money to this corporation and you're shilling for this corporation, then stop playing video games. Like, what the fuck? Like, your enjoyment of playing a game comes from knowing that you can play that game and other people can't?
Why the fuck should PC guys get those games at the same time that I do? Why? Because if they do, then what reason was there for me to hand them my $500? They owe the PC guys nothing. They owe me. I'm the one that gave them money.
They don't owe you shit. Just because you bought a PS5 doesn't mean they owe you games. Like, it's not like there's a contract with every PS5 that Sony promises you exclusive titles that only you can play with the purchase of this console. No, they don't. They get to do with their IPs whatever the fuck they want. And putting them on PC day and date is better for business. And most people on PlayStation 5 won't even give a shit. It's the weird extreme fans like yourself who seem to really care about not sharing with the other gamers.
I'm the one that bought their console. They owe me games. The PC guys aren't owned fuck all. So to even have a conversation about releasing games day and date on PS5 and PC, to me, is absolutely fucking ludicrous, and honestly, a big middle finger to me as a PlayStation fan and user. Because like I said, I'm investing money into their ecosystem, I'm investing money into their products, into their hardware, only for them to go ahead and make games for guys over there who don't deserve shit.
Okay, but like, if I buy God of War and other PlayStation titles on PC, am I then not also investing quote-unquote money into the PlayStation ecosystem? Oh, but you bought a $500 PS5, right? Well, you know that PlayStation doesn't make any money of the consoles. PlayStation, Xbox both sell their consoles at a loss. They lose money on every sale, they make money on the software sales, which is what I'm doing. I'm buying the software. So, if you're asking me, I'm actually contributing more to the PlayStation ecosystem because my purchases don't cost them money.
I'm the one giving them money. I'm the one buying these games. I'm the one who's bought these games in the past. Not those fuckers.
Okay, so PlayStation should only sell their games to people who have bought and supported their console in the past and not try to grow their audience at all. Got it.
So, again, this idea of having these games day and date to me is ridiculous. It really is. And I know some people out there going to be like, yo, Supernova, that's a little bit selfish. What about them? What about the PC guys? Why can't they get the games too? Because for me, to me, they're the equivalent of Gaspar Gomez and the Diaz brothers. And you know what, Tony? Tony, go ahead and tell the ladies and gentlemen what we think about Gaspar Gomez and the Diaz brothers.
Fuck Gaspar Gomez and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers! Fuck them all!
I honestly think it's disgraceful to use a movie as good as Scarface in such an embarrassing shit joke.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, fuck them. Bottom line, fuck them. Now, I understand the thought process or mentality of, oh, well, that's additional revenue that PlayStation Studios can, generate in order to put into their next game. Totally understand that, and I'm fine with that. But again, for me, this needs to be years after the game released exclusively for a PlayStation platform. Like, for example, Horizon Forbidden West. If Horizon Forbidden West releases exclusively on PS4 and PS5, like it is, let it run its course for 2-3 years. After the amount of money you can possibly generate from the consoles has pretty much dried up, then you release to PC.
That's fucking dumb. First of all, for Horizon Forbidden West is most definitely gonna release on PC like a year after release, if not sooner. And second of all, do you know how much more money Sony would make if they released the game's day and date on both PlayStation and PC? So much more fucking money. Just look at fucking Xbox. They started releasing games day and date on Xbox and PC, and they started drowning in so much fucking money that PlayStation is now starting to do the same thing, because they're seeing how much money Microsoft is making off of that.
You've already made all the money you're going to make on the consoles. Now, open up the taps to the PC market. That way, you're still generating that additional revenue from the PC market, while at the same time giving those who gave you money for PlayStation consoles the thing that they are owed, the things that they deserve for investing in your ecosystem.
What an entitled mentality. I bought your console, therefore you owe me games. Yeah, and you're getting those games. It's just that other people might also get them. Oh, but I paid $500 for a console, I gave them money. Yeah, but they don't make money on consoles, they make money on software, which makes it a very logical next step to take that software and put it on multiple systems to generate more money. This whole console war exclusivity shit is outdated as fuck. It's not gonna make you money like it did in the 90s.
And from purchasing your consoles. That is how you have your cake and eat it too. You both make the PlayStation fans happy, as well as get that additional revenue from the PC market. But to do it all the same time, day and date, nope. No sir, no thank you.
Yeah, I can promise you most normal PlayStation fans don't care about exclusives, mainly because when I was a PlayStation fan, and most of my friends and I used to play on PlayStation, almost none of us played exclusives really. The only time we would play exclusives is if we got them with PlayStation Plus, or if I saw that one was like on sale for 80% off. Otherwise I wouldn't go out of my way to play PlayStation exclusives, because I so desperately wanted to play PlayStation exclusives I went out and bought a PlayStation. No, I bought a PlayStation so I could play Destiny 2 with my friends. That's the actual reason. Destiny 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 were probably the games I played the most within the 2 years that I had a PlayStation before I bought a PC.
And the other big reason why I don't like this idea is the reason why PlayStation first-party games and PlayStation exclusives always look and run so good is because those studios are developing that game for specific hardware. And when they're doing that, they're able to get the absolute maximum amount they can out of that console, right? Look at the games at the end of console generations. Look at The Last of Us back in 2013 on PS3, or The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima on PS4.
I think that the problem here is that this guy is kind of scared that if games start being made for both PC and PlayStation, that they'll look better on PC for obvious reasons, you know. And I also don't really buy the whole these games were made specifically for PlayStation or with PlayStation hardware in mind, because they do port over to PC incredibly easily, and they do look and run better on PC than on their original hardware.
The studios were able to wring out every last drop of power that console had to offer, because that game was made specifically to run and play on that specific piece of hardware. It's the same reason why iPhones run so well, because iOS is made specifically for their hardware.
iOS and Apple suck. iPhones don't run well. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I mean, they run well for like the first year, and then Apple slowly starts slowing down your phone with new updates, so you're forced to buy a new phone. But it's really funny to me that a PlayStation fanboy would prefer Apple and iOS, like closed platform fucking greedy ass corporation, like over Android, where you can do and customize whatever the fuck you want.
Where Android has to be able to fit a bajillion different types of devices with different setups, iOS only has to fit a few.
Okay, it's kind of weird to compare operating systems to video games, but sure. Also, you do know that Android is different on every single phone, right? Like, Android on Samsung isn't the same as Android on Huawei. It's very different. And also, like, when it comes to video games, you are aware, right, that when a game releases for different platforms, they make sure that the game runs well and looks good on all platforms. And you might say like, oh, but these games are specifically made for PlayStation, therefore they look better than games made for all platforms. Which is bullshit, because, you know, these games were specifically made for PlayStation, yet they look better on PC.
Now, right now, the way things have been with consoles, the console exclusive games from first party are focusing just on that hardware. If we're going to start making games that are day and date on PC and console, they're not going to be focusing as much on the console anymore. So now all that additional horsepower they can get out of that console, all the tricks they're able to use to get as much power out of the console, it doesn't matter anymore. Because now the game has to also run on PC with a million different possibilities of how those rigs can be set up. And yes, I know, PC guys right away are going to say, well, no, we can just adjust the sliders this way and that way, and you're still going to get the game that you were going to get.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point you just made. I'm sure you'll also find a great, totally logical way of refuting it.
But no, because that game is no longer optimized specifically for the PlayStation console.
Okay, but how does that affect people on PC? Oh, it doesn't? Well, shit fucking point then, isn't it? Look, listen mate, I understand what you're trying to say, but it's retarded. It doesn't work, it's not true. The game will still look great on PlayStation 5. The only thing is that most games nowadays aren't made with specific hardware in mind. And even if they are, they'll always look better on PC. They just do. Well, not always, it depends, by the way, but most PlayStation exclusives that have come to PC look better on PC than on PlayStation 4, even when it's running on rigs with similar specs to a PlayStation 4.
The way it should work, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not a game developer. I'm not a coder. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, I can tell that you're not a game developer, mate. I can tell that you don't code. You don't have to tell me. It's very obvious.
The game should be made and optimized specifically for the PlayStation console. Then, after a couple of years, you port that game to PC.
Also, I just fucking thought about this, right? Because I'm so smart. What if they just made the game for, like, PlayStation hardware or, you know, PCs with the similar specs, and then just put in, like, the sliders for people who don't have hardware that is as good as a PS5? Wouldn't that solve the entire problem that he's having? The game would still be made to run the best it can on the PlayStation 5, but it can also then run on a PC no problem. Actually, it can always run on a PC no problem. Why the fuck are we even discussing this? They could literally make a game specifically for PlayStation hardware and then just port it and release it on the same day. I don't understand. What the fuck's the problem? I don't get it.
I don't give a shit if the port's good quality or not. You get a port of the game. But the game is optimized specifically for the console.
Yeah, guys, this dude doesn't give half a fuck if the game runs good on PC, as long as it looks good and runs good on PlayStation. But yeah, no, he's not selfish, right? Like, he definitely cares about the wider gaming community.
I also love how all of a sudden, all these PC Master Race guys, who for years claimed that they don't give a shit about console games because they're the PC Master Race, this, that, and the other thing, now that they're getting a taste of greatness in God of War, all of a sudden they want all these PlayStation games to come to PC.
No, that's not really what's happening. I mean, it really depends on the person, but I feel like most PC gamers don't really care about a lot of, you know, console games, especially not games like Uncharted and God of War. Like, I'm sorry, but they look so fucking linear. Like, Uncharted literally looks like it plays itself, okay? And the only reason I haven't bought God of War on PC yet is because I look at the gameplay and I just think to myself, that doesn't look like it's worth 50 bucks. It really doesn't. If it's 20, okay, maybe I'll buy it. But again, that's different from person to person. Also, it's not like we're just begging for these games to come to PC. Sony is giving them to us. Like, I didn't ask for Horizon Forbidden Dawn, Horizon, whatever, the fucking first one. I didn't ask for that game to come to PC. Suddenly, Sony just decided to port it because they knew it would make fuck tons of money. And it did.
And the thing is, like, no. If you want to play these games, get a PS5 or get a PS4. That should be the case, right? It should be like, oh, if you want to play these PlayStation exclusive games, you have two options. Either you buy a PlayStation console or you wait and hope that you get a port of that game, right? That should be the only options that exist.
Why should those be the only options? Like, hoping that the game comes to my platform or buying a PS5. Also, I think this guy's underestimating the patience of PC gamers. Like, you know how many of us are waiting for Bloodborne still and are just refusing to buy a PS4? Also, mainly because the game looks pretty bad on PS4, not gonna lie. I played the game on PS4, it didn't look that great.
A day and date release, again, doesn't make any sense. It also is not going to help sell consoles by telling PC gamers, yo, if you want to play the sequel to this God of War you're playing right now, if you want to play God of War Ragnarok, you better go get yourself a PS4, PS5, because it's not coming to PC anytime soon. That's how you sell additional console. And I know a bunch of PC guys out there are going to be like, listen, Supernova, PC guys don't give a fuck about the PlayStation console. They're not going to buy a PlayStation console anyway. Well, then again, I have to say, fuck them. Then fuck them. If they don't want to buy PlayStation consoles to play PlayStation exclusive games, then fuck them.
Okay, so because I don't want to pay 500 bucks to buy a fucking shitty closed off platform where I have to pay extra money for the privilege of using the internet I already pay for, because I don't want to do that, fuck me. And again, Sony doesn't make any money off of PlayStation 5 and PS4 sales. They make money off software. So if I buy their games on PC, I'm still giving them money. Honestly, boys, this video, I'm gonna end it here. Because it's like, this is probably the longest fucking video I've ever made on a PlayStation fanboy. And I could probably stretch it out for like another 5 minutes if I wanted to. But I'm not gonna do that. Because I really don't care to listen to this fucking retard for another second even. He basically just goes on to talk about, oh well, if they don't want to buy a PlayStation, well then they don't get the games. And I really doubt that they don't want to play the games because they're so good. It's like, mate, you know how many PC gamers want to play Bloodborne or other like PlayStation exclusives but are just refusing to buy a console because it's so shit and so not worth the money. I don't know anybody who's willing to buy a PlayStation 5 when they have a PC. Anyway, boys, I'm ending the video here because I'm about to have a fucking stroke. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.